Hello, everybody. This is Jeff from Treasure Talk and Treasure Tales, welcoming you to Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Treasure Tales. It's going to be a little different kind of show tonight. Two of the guests that we had lined up, they got devastated by Hurricane Ivan, and the other young guy was from the Tampa area, and they didn't get hit too bad. So we're going to talk about the hurricane. Um, and we're going to talk with our guest some about his trip to Scotland. And we're going to do, going to start something here very, very quickly. Treasure Tale from here on out is going to be sponsored. We'll have two sponsors. One sponsor is going to be Myers Metal Detectors from sunny Tampa, Florida, where if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you probably don't need it. And the second sponsor will be Excalibur Shovels that makes the best digging implements on the planet. So going forward, you'll hear from our sponsors. And let's bring our co-host on from the wonderful world of Canada, the Digging Canuck. Hello, Kiki.
Hello, Jeff. Hey, everybody.
How's things in Canada?
Dry compared to where you are. You
Yeah.
survived?
And we didn't. I live in North Florida, and we didn't. We thought at first one of the models said it was going to come right over us,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going, oh great, that's all I need with all the limbs and stuff I normally have to pick up even after a thunderstorm. I said we get anything with a hurricane, I said it's going to be bad,
Yeah.
and we didn't get anything.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, while it was coming ashore, I was out mowing my lawn. We
Wow.
haven't gotten any. I mean, we got cooler weather. It's been
Uh-huh.
really cool. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
wearing, long sleeves now because it's down in the mid 60s at night, so it's getting cold.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only about 78 or 79 today for a high, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Southern Florida. We were watching videos, live streams all day long. Southern Florida just got hammered.
Oh, they got hit bad, and it's not just Southern Florida either. It went all the way through. I know my brother from another mother, the Mumbles man. He lives on the other side of Interstate 75, so he's
Mm.
not near the coast. He's about an hour from the coast, really.
Yes, yes.
And he had to put his hurricane shutters up, and
Wow.
had some damage to his fence. So they got a lot of rain and some wind.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I got a brother-in-law that lives in Orlando, and they got hammered pretty good too.
Because the track was, like you said, the track was supposed to go north, but it actually cut across Florida, did it not?
Yeah, and just what it did is it came up and it just kind of sat there a little bit, going, "What am I going to do?" And it decided to make a strong right turn, and it went in just almost right at Fort Myers. I mean, they said tonight our governor was on the news, and he said that Fort Myers is history. Fort
Wow.
Myers Beach. I mean, people. He said out in Estero Bay there was a house that
Mm.
had floated out into the bay, cars in the bay.
Yeah, we saw that.
I mean,
Crazy
it's
stuff.
crazy, crazy stuff. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people are with no power, um, have been flooded out. As a matter of fact, that friend of ours at that condo in Naples we were supposed to be in this week,
Yes, yes.
it's got 8 inches of water in it.
Oh.
So, it's for all intents and purposes, it's ruined, you
Yeah.
know. And I just
Wow.
hope that, as sometimes these things go, with as much devastation has been had here, that these insurance companies, don't just say, well, we're not paying, we're canceling you, and all this
Yeah.
and everything.
Mhm.
When people's fault is an act of nature.
Yeah.
So there ought to be a law that says the insurance companies that if they cancel you for something like this, that you can sue
Mhm.
them.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
don't mind taking your premium, but when they gotta pay out, that's another
well,
thing.
that's the thing. See, that's the thing, boy. If you're
Yeah.
late with your premium, they get
Mhm.
pretty, hinky about that, and I don't think
Yeah.
that's right. But boy, when
Mhm.
it comes time to pay up, it's going to be, well, we don't have the money right now. You're going to have to wait. Well, you know what? What'd you do with all the money? Because all these people for years and years and years
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
these exorbitant premiums every
Mhm.
month.
Yeah.
Where's the money in
Yeah.
your bonuses and that kind of stuff? So I don't,
Yeah.
they need to get it done.
Yeah,
These people
that's
blow
where
it.
yeah. You need some sort of I don't know if you have them down there, but there's some sort of government watchdog agency that has to the only thing they do is protect people in this case where the companies think that they can just, oh, sorry, not my problem kind of thing. You need
Yeah,
government watchdog. You really, really need that.
yeah. If it's a legitimate
Oh,
out.
absolutely. Absolutely.
In
Yes.
a lot of cases with certain governments, it's not. It's just another way for them to be on the take. And as long as they get theirs, they don't care. Always one
Yeah,
excuse after another. It's blah, 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 blah.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
politicians,
Yes.
politicians are like lawyers.
Yeah.
If their mouth is moving, they're probably lying. So, that's neither here
Lot of
nor
mouth
there.
moving going on these days.
Yes, yes, indeed. So some good things happening. I've got a lead for a couple of permissions here that I didn't even realize they were here. Um, one of them is an old cemetery and church. The church burnt down, and the church was active in the 1830s and 1840s.
Mm,
And it's
very
it's a pretty
nice.
big area. I mean, it's been.
Mhm.
And there's a big sign out there about the guy that founded Madison County and all that kind of stuff. He
Mhm.
out there, and a lot of Confederate soldier graves, and
Mhm.
even a couple of missionaries that were missionaries to the Seminole Indians from the late
Wow.
1700s. So,
Yeah.
and to my knowledge, it has not been ever detected. So,
Wow,
I'm
lots of history
looking for
there in the ground.
hmm And another
Yeah.
friend of mine, his grandmother's house is still on his property. I mean, it's a shack now, but it was from the 1850s. So, we're gonna
Man.
maybe get a couple of places here, maybe find
Mhm.
some history. I know the Mumbles man will be up to stay for a week, and we'll get him and John David, and we'll go out and do
Mhm.
some hunting. See,
Mhm.
you ought to come down.
One
Have
day.
some fun.
One
Have
day.
some fun. Well,
One day.
hopefully one day, we
Yes,
probably ought to
absolutely.
say hello to people, don't you think?
Yeah, perhaps there seems to be quite a few in the chat tonight.
Yeah, well, first, why don't we do this? Why don't we have a word from our sponsor? And that would be Myers Metal Detectors in sunny Tampa, Florida, where if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you probably don't need it. So I'm going to try something here. So bear with me.
All right.
Hey folks, welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny.
So I missed my finger didn't click well enough, but I'm making up some different things, commercials. But
That's all
that
right.
is our sponsor. Main sponsor is Myers
Right on.
Metal Detectors, and where Phil doesn't have it in stock, you probably don't need it. So,
Exactly.
and our other sponsor is Excalibur Shovels. It makes the best digging implements on the planet. And that's right. You use Excalibur shovels. I use Excalibur shovels.
Yes,
The
yes. And
Mumbles
hand
man
diggers,
uses
yes.
Excalibur shovels. A lot of people out there use Excalibur shovels. So
Mhm.
um, let's go and see if we can say hello to some people. So
All
let's
right.
see. The Mumbles man was number one. He's my brother from another mother. And Dirty Paws Detecting, Mike and Trish, how are you? Hope you guys are safe down there. You didn't get too much damage. I know you probably got hammered pretty good. Um, but I'm just glad that y'all obviously have got power because you're watching the
Yes.
show, and we
Mhm.
certainly appreciate them being here.
Mhm.
I mean, I was getting texts from all over the country, and even from England and stuff like that. People want to know if we were all right. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and, that really kind of warms your heart a little bit to know that the people care.
It's a very tight and caring community.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Let's see. We have a Facebook user. I don't know who that is. And then Necromecan. Okay. Hello. Glad that you're here. Necromecan. Do you know what Necromecan connotates?
Death or something.
I had no clue.
I think that that has something to do with death.
Well,
I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
This people are probably very much alive, and we're glad that they're watching. And Jean P.
Hey, Jean.
Yeah, she said she's not sure how long she'll have signal. Well, you got to see us, so what else do you really need? You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Another Facebook user says, hello, who are you? We're glad you're here. And another Facebook user. I tell you what, there's been a lot of problems with Facebook. Every time I get ready to do the show, I'm having to reconnect with the Facebook, and there's problems with Facebook. I tell you what, I don't even want to go there.
Nor do I.
It just makes me want to drink.
Okay. All right. There you go, Mark Zuckerberg.
I had to have a little wine, and I haven't had chicken cacciatore for dinner. So
there you go.
Tom Becker from Ohio. Hello, Tom. Roy Jones. Happy Thursday to you, Roy. Let's see. Okay. That's all right. That was our guest. He's having a little trouble getting his laptop to load.
That's all right. Robert Ridgway is here, and he says that he survived in Pinellas Park, Florida.
Yeah, that's
glad to hear that.
I hope they didn't get too much. I know I talked to Phil a number of times. I kept in contact with him and Phil and some other friends from down there throughout. And Tampa and Pinellas Park area, they didn't get, they got rain and they got some wind. But I don't know if they lost power or not. I really don't know. But I do know that I think half the water got sucked out of Tampa Bay.
I saw that video. They actually showed, it was like there was no water there.
Yeah.
It's almost like when a tsunami happens and the water goes out and then it comes back and you're dead.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I was now Mumbles Man will know exactly what I'm talking about on the Ochlockonee Bay here and in St. Mark's out by the lighthouse. See, I used to live in St. Mark's right on the coast, and the hurricane sucked the water out of there because I think Mumbles Man knows where the bird rack is out by the lighthouse, and it was sucked out all the way to the bird rack. And the Ochlockonee Bay Bridge, it was dry underneath it. Wow. No water.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Yeah. That's crazy. Mother Nature is crazy sometimes.
Woo. Let me tell you. There's another Facebook user. Hello. My other brother from another mother, our sponsor of our show, Myers Metal Detectors, the Guru, is in the house. He survived, and I'm very glad about that.
Yeah.
Another Facebook user. I don't know. Something's going on with Facebook. Even when they click, they won't let them. Well, I don't want to talk about them people.
Have another drink.
I think I will.
Mark Thomas is here.
The troll, Marcus. And another spell check. Facebook user, don't know who it is.
Eric Schaefer, also here.
Yes. Hello, Eric.
Dan's Lanyards. Danyard and VT is here.
Oh, yes. We got to talk about that tonight because guess what? We're going to talk about that real quick.
All right. Little segment for you. I know. Go ahead.
Dan, how are you, my friend? And we have Pink Power Alley Treasure Hunter. Another gem of the North.
Royalty has entered the building.
That's right. And Elvis is following close behind. Elvis lost some of his bling, Ellie, so you best get ready to help him find it.
Oh.
Uh,
Swamp Rat Nation.
oh, yeah, Donnie. Hi, Donnie. Let's see. Surfside Dan. He says he's over in the near Myrtle Beach, and he's looking for the storm to remove some of the sand off the beach. He said his Deus 2 is all charged up and ready for the beach.
Right on. Right on. I hope
Well,
you
that's
get
another
some
something we
amazing
need to talk about with you.
Yes.
And let's see. Jerry Talley. Hello, Jerry. How are you? And Mark Watrous. Hello, Mark. Glad that you're here tonight. And let's see here. Well, it just kind of jumped on me. Gary
Yeah, it
Grove.
jumped on me
Hello,
too.
Gary.
Charles Broussard. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
he went through the storm on a cruise ship.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's one bozo down in Fort Myers that he was belly aching because he broke his collarbone. He tried to ride it out on his boat
Oh,
tied to the dock.
wow.
Hello, why? You know, his
Wow.
boat
There's
got
always
destroyed.
one of those. There's
I
always
don't
one of those.
understand it. You know, I don't
Yeah.
understand it. Ay, ay, ay.
I don't know.
I don't
Some
either.
people don't have too many smarts upstairs.
Well, they don't use their, when it comes to that, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? Let's see who else is here. Ricky T, another a good friend of mine. He is in Plant City, and they lost power. It had some limbs down and stuff like that, but no damage. So that's
That's all
another
right.
really good thing. I like that.
Yes. Yes.
And let's see. Okay, watching from San Diego, a Facebook user. Glad that you're here. Treasure Hunter X. I feel like I must be in the wrong place. There's no one else watching the YouTube channel. Oh, well, I think there's a lot of people watching the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Treasure Hunter X.
Maybe he's not refreshing or something. That's
Something
kind of weird.
that,
Yeah, that's kind of
there's
weird.
a lot of people watching, so.
Yeah.
And Drum Detect in the house.
Jewel.
Double G Diggs.
Right on.
And another Facebook user. His name is Nelson, a Facebook user. Nelson, we're glad that you joined us tonight.
Yes. Yes.
So what we were talking about, now Deus 2, I believe you just got something for your Deus 2, and you've used it recently too, haven't you?
I actually made a trade with a wonderful person who's in the chat. I don't know if that person wants me to say anything, but I traded my large coil for the small coil, and it absolutely weighs nothing. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I have not used it yet. I tried it in the backyard over a couple of targets. I cannot wait to use the small coil.
It's plenty deep. Trust me.
Yeah.
Plenty deep. Once you get out in that field that you've got up there, you're really going to like that small coil.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Especially if there's some stubble or
yeah,
stuff like that. You're really, really going to like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I must say I got really used to the small coil on the ORX, which I still have. But yeah, the big coil, just too big for me. That's just me.
Well, yeah, and I've got an 11-inch coil as well, but I just use that in the water. So Treasure Hunter X says, is there a different channel? He's on the Blue Spade Society channel. There's only 3 or 4 people watching on Blue Spade Society channel, but everybody else is watching on Treasure Talk. So we're glad you're on Blue Spade Society.
Sure absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about, Dan Nelson from Dan's Lanyards. Absolutely fantastic. The best lanyard products in the country.
Yes.
And you remember, was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when we were talking to him about a lanyard for the Deus 2?
Yes.
He says, I'll get right on it. Well, right in my hand here. Hopefully you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is a Dan's lanyard for the Deus 2.
Wow.
Now, I'll go through it kind of piece by piece with you because this is an absolute killer product. And they're in the process or in the mail of being shipped to Myers Metal Detectors in sunny Tampa, Florida.
Right on.
So we'll have them in stock very shortly. And this, what it is, it's a short lanyard because the only problem that I see with the Deus 2 is the remote control pops on that thing. But if you are, hunting in the field, and you hunt in the field, so you'll test this, or in a yard or wherever, or if you are a water hunter, the more you take the remote control off and on, the looser it will get.
Yes.
And if it popped off and you lost it, that's a $800 pop right there.
Yeah.
So I asked Dan, I said, what can you do? And he said he'd figure it out. Now, the Deus 2 does come with a little bitty little lanyard, but it's not very strong.
No. It's like it's like a string.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Now, this is killer because it's got the lanyard part, you see, but it's also got a real heavy duty cord, and it's got paracord, pretty thick paracord, which is really, really strong. This part will loop around your shaft and secure in your shaft. Then on the other end, you have this little connector thing here. My fingers are fat fingers, so I can't really, get it open, but you can take it apart.
Yes, it does come apart.
Yes. And this is smaller paracord, which is still very, very strong. This will go through the bottom of the remote control and loop around itself to secure it. So if your remote control pops off, for instance, it's going to be secured. It's not going anywhere.
No.
And this is strong enough for all the people out there that are water hunters. This will work amazing.
That would even work for when you're in the woods, you get snagged on, sometimes you're walking through the woods, going from one spot to another. You're not even looking at your, you got your detector on your shoulder. You're not even looking at it. And next thing you know, you get to where you're going. Where's your remote?
Yeah. So this, it's not an expensive product. None of Dan's lanyards are expensive, but they're very, very, very well made, and they're thought out, and they're just fantastic products. They're always in stock at Myers, and or you can call Dan himself. He makes a killer product. And this is something, if you're a Deus 2 user, or even the Deus 1, if you're a Deus user, this is something that you need.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It's going to, it cost you what, $20 or something like that. $22, $23, I don't know. Let's say at the most it's $25. That'll be the best $25 I think you've ever spent.
Well, the paracord itself is super duper strong. It's not going to snap or break or anything like that. So that's absolutely incredible.
And it's going to hold up in the salt water. I mean, it's not going to hold up forever. Nothing holds up forever in the salt water. But, like I said, the first time, if you lose that remote control, you're going to be one sorry Jesse. One sorry Jesse.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me contact our guest to see how he's doing.
Where is the hurricane now? Has it left Florida? Is it out to sea? Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's pounding the Carolinas now.
Neo Geo in the house. Thank you, Neo Geo. Treasure Hunter X is now with us on YouTube. So there you go.
Yes, everything will be good. So I just had to message our guest
Mm-hmm.
He may be having a little trouble with his computer, but he is from Pinellas Park.
Mm.
We're lucky to have him with us tonight. And it's going to be interesting. He just got back from Scotland with a couple other guys that unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight
Mm-hmm.
because of they were from further south from Florida, Venice, Fort Myers, in that area, and no way, which everybody understands, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So somebody from Facebook said it's east of Jacksonville, about 120 miles offshore. So it's coming
Also,
around.
okay.
Um,
That's kind of weird that it went right across. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Yeah.
you got a fan here from Neo Geo Metal Detecting NSD. It says you are awesome, Liz.
Right back at you, Neo Geo.
I would have to second that emotion.
Cheers.
Cheers. Right. To all the people in South Florida, we've been thinking
Yes.
about you. We've been worried about
Yes.
you.
Yeah. You know what? That's all that we were talking about here. The day of the hurricane was, we had it on our different monitors, had different live cameras. So I was actually watching the live camera from Key West. You know how they have that the furthermost point, that buoy,
Oh yeah.
where everybody takes their pictures. As the day progressed, it's funny because in the morning, everybody was getting their pictures taken at the buoy, and as the day progressed, you could see the waves coming in and then wetting the people and all that, and then finally it was just like you couldn't see anything anymore, and the people were gone, and that's, I guess, when the hurricane was like at its strongest. But it was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people out there. Gene P said it's about to hit Charleston. Then it turns inland and will be knocking on her door about 2 p.m. Charleston could, if it strengthens again, I'm not sure what it is now. I think it's possibly just a category 1 now. I don't know for sure. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But if it would, strengthen again, and it's very possible because the Atlantic waters are just a little bit cooler than the Gulf waters, but they're still very warm enough to feed.
Well,
this
sure,
storm.
it picked up lots of water and moisture, and yeah.
And
wow, crazy.
Charleston, having been to Charleston a number of times, if it comes in, that Charleston Bay there is not very deep, and it could do some serious damage there too. I mean, this is not a storm that you want to mess with.
Yeah.
And if you were told to get out, get out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like I told the Mumbles man the other night, I was checking on him, and I said, stuff can be replaced.
Yeah.
He and Tina and Jen cannot be.
Yes.
Don't take any chances at all. Anybody out there that's watching that the storm is coming, all that stuff can be replaced. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. We can't replace you, nor do we want to replace you. You are far, far more valuable than any of that stuff. So take the people that you love and boogie.
Yeah. Have you heard of any deaths at all?
There was a few deaths. I understand there's about 5 or 6 so far down around Fort Myers, which if they don't have a lot more, I don't know. Wow. But, Liz, people do some ignorant stuff, and they do it just get on the news. And there's this one idiot, he sent in a video, like a TikTok thing or whatever, of him swimming in his living room.
Of his what?
In his living room. He was swimming in his living room.
Wow.
And he knew he was going to get on the news. Wow. But when he's not thinking about all the crap that he's got, he's immersing himself in. That water is, surge, and all the chemicals and stuff like that that's in there. It doesn't take a real modicum of intelligence to do that. I'm sorry, but you go, hello, McFly, anybody home?
Yeah, it's funny what comes up when on Twitter or any of the other social media sites. There were quite a few people actually posting video, or I guess it was altered video with sharks in the water. Did you see that? Sharks going down Main Street, Fort Myers. Have you seen any of those?
No, I'm well, it's very possible. It is very, very possible, but
Yeah.
they're I don't know. Sometimes, I'm going, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about detectors while we're waiting for our guest to join up.
Mm.
And I heard that Mine Lab is going to be rolling back their prices on the Equinox.
That would be a great idea, because I do believe they just raised their prices for absolutely no reason other than the shrinkflation or whatever inflation you want to call it. Have
Yep.
you heard how much at all?
I think they're going back to the old prices. I think what I heard, and I don't know this to be factual,
Yeah.
but like $8.99 on the 800, and
Mhm.
they're reducing the 600. And I think probably a lot of the reason why is the Legend's been kicking their high knee.
Yeah. Yeah, there was absolutely no excuse to raise the price at all. At
Yeah,
all.
and which kind of tells me that maybe they're not getting the response to this Manticore that they thought they were going to.
Well, it's this day and age, people are strapped for cash.
Yeah,
Food bank usage is going up like crazy.
yeah.
People don't have $3,000 for a new detector.
I think the Manticore is like 15.99.
Okay, American. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be Canadian.
Okay.
Probably about
Hey,
2,000, wouldn't
the
it?
dollar just went down to 72 cents American, so we're getting hammered up here.
Well, we've been getting hammered, but and then you got now Monday night on Treasure Talk, we've got Steve Moore
Mm,
from Garrett, and he's going to talk about the new Axiom. That
yeah.
is Garrett's gold detector.
That's an expensive one too, is it not?
I think all of them are. I mean, if you look at the gold detectors throughout the many manufacturers,
Mhm.
they're pretty pricey.
Mhm.
So I think I'm not sure, but I think it's about $3,000
Mm.
American.
Mhm.
Now I don't know. We'll find out from Steve.
Mhm.
So anybody out there that formulate your questions, and if you want to, you can email them. Let me put up the email address if you want to email them. If you're not a member on Facebook, where you can go to the page in Facebook and list your questions. Let me just pop this up here. There we go. There's the email. So if you want to email a question in, so be sure that it gets asked and
Mhm.
answered. We would, be happy to do that. Practical
Yeah.
Ken just joined us.
Hey, Ken. All these new metal detectors coming out um, is kind of I don't know, but it seems like it's kind of helping Delic and Macro, because those detectors, the Legend. I mean, my goodness, the Legend can do what the Equinox can at a fraction of the price.
Yeah, it can. Well, it does more than the Equinox. Really, when you come right down to it, it's got some features that, as I understand it, they put in that Manticore, like the
Hmm.
vibrating handle for those that
Oh
are
yeah. Hmm.
vision challenged or at night,
Yeah.
possibly,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
the little flashlight
Hmm.
is going to be on the Manticore. And I think that just having seen a little bit of it, I've seen that the coil kind of looks like the Nocta Amphibio coil.
Mm.
It
I
really
gotta say,
does.
when I saw the pictures, the build quality, it looks like they really toughened it up. As far as the build, it looks like, I don't know. I haven't seen one, haven't held one in my hands. It looks like from the initial pictures.
When I first saw it, I thought, well, it kind of looks just like the Equinox build qualities. We're going to see. Now, everybody out there, Debbie from Mind Lab will have the Manticore in Myers metal detectors on Wednesday, October the 5th. And we're going to do a live show. Not going to be all day. We'll probably take maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes or so. And we're going to talk Manticore. We're going to get Phil's first impression of it. You'll have it. He'll hold it up, and we'll get to see a little bit more about it. Maybe we can ask some questions from the Mind Lab rep and get some good answers. So I'm not 100% sure. It'll probably be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, the 5th of October, where we'll go live. And if you miss it live, you can always catch it on the replay on YouTube or Facebook. So now, it should be an interesting time, I think.
I think is the Manticore is not available for sale. Is that correct? They still just have their I wouldn't call it prototypes, but it's in pre-order.
I think it's in pre-order. Okay. I don't know. Phil would probably could tell us more.
Well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Yes, it will be. And I'm sure they'll send some or sell some. And I hope that it's, they've got all the problems that they had. I hope they got them fixed because, if they do have them fixed, that just makes it better for the consumer, whether you're a Mind Lab lover or not, you're a Nocta lover or not, or you're a Deus lover or not. The competition out there, the consumer wins when there's more quality product out there to choose from. So
absolutely.
I hope it's a smash. I really do.
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
Yes.
Phil should be able to tell us, at least as far as build quality is concerned.
Yeah, and he'll have it turned on, and he in the shop it's not going to be real, because of all the EMI and stuff like that. But you get a pretty good look at it, and hopefully we'll be able to ask Debbie some questions, and and get some answers.
Yeah.
And like I said, I hope it's a smash. I hope it does everything that they say it can do. I hope the build quality is good. They don't have any leakage and, no coil ears breaking and none of that kind of stuff. I really do. But there again, it kind of remains to be seen.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? And people are kind of weary because of the experiences they've had with leaking Equinoxes and with the coil ears breaking. So people are kind of, I think they're going to wait and see.
Hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, well, I'm interested, but I'm going to wait and see about it.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't see him. He says he's here. Let's see. I don't see him. Well, let's get him going. I'm talking with our guest on the phone. So Liz, entertain everybody, please.
Entertain. And for my next number, there's a lot of skeptical people in the not skeptical, but they're just kind of wait and see, like we were talking about. Gene P, Joel, Drum and Detect. They're just waiting to see. I know there's a lot of people who are actually very, very satisfied with their present detectors, and the only way that they're gonna perhaps move upwards to another detector is going to be something that is absolutely going to knock the socks out of their present detector. So,
yeah. I mean, the performance on the Knox was really good.
I never had a problem with my 600. I really liked my 600.
Yeah, there really wasn't that much difference unless you were going to be out in the gold fields. You really didn't need the 800.
Exactly.
Yes. A couple other things on it.
Yes.
Let's see. I see He's starting to come in. There he is. Let's bring on our guest for tonight. He just got back from Scotland and had a grand time over there, I can tell you. And we are just so thankful that he and his family are okay. They live
Yes.
in the Tampa area. And the other two that were supposed to be on with us tonight, they are okay. I've been in communication with them, and we thank the Lord for that. They're just, they lost power and having trouble with their houses and stuff like that. So they couldn't be with us tonight, and our prayers and thoughts go out to them. But let's welcome Big Billy Keene.
All righty.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Are you still have a hanking to eat some haggis and stuff? Or
No, I didn't get anywhere near that stuff. No way.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we are just so thankful that you didn't have a lot of damage and that you and your family are safe.
Well, I appreciate that. We didn't have any damage, just a bunch of branches on the roof and down around I have 2 big oak trees in the backyard, but me and the wife cleaned it all up, and you wouldn't know anything even happened. That's what we did today.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
There's a number of people. I know Rick Tumbleson was telling me that they had a bunch of limbs down and lots of leaves and stuff, and they were without power. I don't know if they've got power back or not, but their neighbor loaned them a generator, so
Yeah.
they were able to. They didn't lose any of their food in the refrigerator and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's good news. I was checking up on everybody all through this area and down with Bruno and them and Sean, as you were just mentioning, 2 of them. And everybody seems to have come through it all right. Everything can be replaced except for, ourselves. So
that's right. That's
overall,
right.
It was a miserable 30 plus hours, but it was up here. We dodged another bullet. I mean, it was coming right for us. And I'll tell you, it's the first time in all these years I've lived here, it's the first time I was actually really concerned, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
all in all, I feel, you hate to say, don't come here because it's going somewhere. So somebody else is going to get what they kept saying was coming to you. You know what I mean? And you don't want it to come, but then it's going to go somewhere else, and that's going to affect other people. So it's a hard thing to, really mentally deal with it as far as that part's concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just, like I said, I was in contact with Bruno and Sean and wanted to make sure that they were okay. Another good friend of ours, Danny Graham, he lives right there in Venice, and he said that they got pounded pretty good, that he and Kathy were okay. So that's an interesting noise.
I don't know what that is. And I'm sorry about the delay. If I'd have known this computer was this slow, I'd have started a lot earlier. But honestly, I actually have to get help when it comes to these kinds of things because I'm really not good with this technology stuff. So, and I do apologize for being late.
That's all right. No worries. We're just, like I said, we're just ecstatic that you didn't have any problems at all.
No, thank you.
You and the other 2, and there were a couple more, 2 or 3 more that went to Scotland, right?
Yeah, there was a total of 8 of us. A couple of gentlemen out of Arizona who I've hunted with before, really good guys. A guy out of Michigan who I'd never hunted with before, but Bruno and Sean had the last time they went to Scotland. Really good dude. The whole experience was really top notch because where we stayed in a little town called Denholm, the hospitality was amazing. The hotel we stayed in actually had a pub and a restaurant, so it was really convenient for all of us. Because we went over there to metal detect. We didn't go over there to sightsee. We didn't do any of that. Every morning at 8 o'clock, we hopped in a van and we headed to the fields. It's a little different over there to the thing. Usually you're low and slow. Well, we were doing a lot of fields that with what they called stubble, and just basically stalks that look like straws. And they were firm. And of course, not being the smartest guy in the world, I wore shorts the first day. Got pretty scratched up on my legs from it. But it was, but you had to force your coil through that stuff. So it made your arm a little bit more tired after, because we'd start at 8 o'clock and I don't know, anywhere from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, we would finish up. And it's not like in Florida where you're just, you're on flat land. There was a lot of uphills, and one of the gentlemen from Arizona was kind of tracking how much we were walking, and it was averaging between 5.5 and 8 miles a day. So and a lot of it was uphill, and not just one hill, multiple hills. I mean, it'd go up, flatten out, go back up a little higher, flatten out, go back up. And, you didn't want to stop because you knew the next target could be something amazing. And there was some amazing things found. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now you went over there, you were over there with Toddy, right? From Toddy.
Yes, sir. Yep. And what a great guy he is too.
He's an awesome guy.
Knows everything. Everything I showed him, because, I have no clue. Everything I showed him, he told me what it is, what year range it was, and everything else. So it was quite the experience. And the hospitality, like I said, was second to none. They never said no to us the whole time. Any requests we had, they said no, never said no to us. It was a wonderful place.
Yeah, very, very good. We got a question from Double G Diggs. He wants to know if you got to bring most of your finds back.
Yes, actually, we did. There was one of the gentlemen. I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not, but I'm going to because he's smaller than me. Sheldon from Arizona.
Everybody's smaller than you, man.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me. He found a Celtic brooch. That they believe that's probably going to end up in a museum over there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy because Toddy was really, really through the roof on that find. And it was really cool. And there was, the other guy from Arizona found a Bronze Age spearhead. I mean,
wow.
It's not just the coins. It was all the other things too.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to find a couple of medieval buttons. And one of them, I don't know if I got some of the stuff here. I'll try to show it. I don't know how well it'll come up, but let's see. This is one of them. This is the bigger one I found, and it's basically lead. I don't know how clear that's coming in.
It's pretty clear.
Is it good? And that was the big one. And I think honestly, the smaller one was my favorite one. And I found that on the very last day as I'm heading back to the van, just outside of the van. And that's it there. Oop, here we go. Oop,
what do the backs of those buttons look like?
It's pretty much.
Do they have any attachment points left or no?
Yeah, again, I'm not very good at this. You can see a little.
Okay.
Oh crap! Well, I dropped it. No big deal.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
It's right there. I can get it later. And here was another medieval thing I found, and it's you can see the shape of it. It's something to do with a spindle for
a spindle whorl.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And that was some of the medieval stuff I found.
Wow, incredible.
And like I said, everybody found at least one hammered except for one guy. But he's the one who found the spearhead, so I think he was all right with that.
Yeah. And you're right, Billy, because when I was over there, they said, don't throw anything away. Because I'm with you, I had to stop and go, well, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And the guy that was running the trip, his wife found a Bronze Age axe head, and it just looked like a piece of rock to me, but because you don't know, and buttons, people say, well, how did you, you're out in the middle of a field, why there's so many buttons? Well, what they told us was back, in medieval times, you had the plague. So, they took people's clothes and put them out in the middle of the fields and burned them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because of the plague,
Sure.
and that kind of thing. So a lot of the buttons being, the pewter metal, whatever kind of metal it was, they didn't necessarily melt. They just kind of, down in the dirt. And they used to take and put a lot of their garbage in the fields and just cover it up.
It's funny you say that because that's one thing we found a ton of was buttons.
Yeah,
I probably myself have every guy has over 50 buttons. I guarantee that. Yeah. And some of them are just flat and some of them are ornate. Some of them still had some gold gilding on them. And the crazy thing is, as Toddy was explaining to us, he goes, these ones with the fancier design, obviously those were, I don't really like saying this, but like the upper crust people, you know what I mean? People with money and stuff like that, the more affluent.
Well, back then that would be the case.
Yeah.
But buttons, I mean, good Lord, did we dig buttons? Not that that's a bad thing.
No, that's a great thing. I love buttons.
Yeah.
I bet you I dug well over 100.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. From what I saw, I was just, it almost got to the point we were doing this one field, and we actually named it the Button Field because that's almost. I mean, yeah, there was a few coins, a couple of big coppers. That's the other thing too. The size of some of the coins over there. This here is a cartwheel penny. And there's some design, but you can't. I didn't really want to clean these things too much. You know what I mean? Because I like the patina on them.
Yeah.
But all of them, I mean, there's regular coppers that are
Now,
real.
are those Scottish coppers?
Some of it is English. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
Because he would.
Okay.
And here's the crazy thing: he would look at it, Toddy would, and he goes, "See how the face is turning to the right." And he'd say, "This is such and such date from such a date." And then the other one would be turning to the left, and he'd go, "Oh, well, that's from such and such date." My best find, and I don't want to take it out of this, so you're only going to see one side of it, but it is a Henry VIII sovereign penny. That's his shield on that side. On the other side, it's really thin. That's why I'm not even handling it.
Right.
On the other side is Henry VIII sitting in his what do you call it? His
throne.
Throne. Thank you.
My goodness.
Yeah, and he's holding a staff and everything else. And then Toddy pulled that coin up on or online, Googled it, and I could see what it looked like, if it was not perfect, but really good condition. You can see that all that stuff on my coin, which is like obviously my favorite find. I mean, a lot of, musket balls and stuff like that and other bullets and a lot of other stuff too. I actually found this one thing and I just threw it in my finds thing and didn't think anything of it. It was a piece of lead. Didn't think anything of it. It was kind of pointed and kind of bent a little bit. And he picked that out of my thing. He goes, "You know what this is?" And I said, "I absolutely have no idea what that is. It looks like a piece of lead to me." And he said, "It would have actually been a writing utensil where they would have wrote with that on something." And that was really cool because honestly, I'm surprised I didn't throw it in the bottom of my pouch, to be honest with you, when I found it. But anything lead in that, and you're not sure what it is, you just throw it in your thing, and he would go through everybody's stuff. And then I think the second to the last night, we had the people at the hotel cordon off part of the hotel or the restaurant. We had tables, everybody put all their finds out and all that. And he would go along, was telling everybody. And then everybody in the restaurant started coming in because they were all locals. They all wanted to come in because they seen us up in the fields, the whole 8 days we were there. So it was quite the experience. I'm actually looking forward to doing it again. It was
sure.
It was a lot of fun. It was you want to say it's one of them once in a lifetime. I don't know if it's once in a lifetime because I want to do it again now.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of a detector were you using over there?
I was actually using a Deus 2. I just got that Deus 2 and I didn't have it for long. I only had it like 4 times. And again, the great thing about this Toddy guy, I was just going in the general settings because I have kind of for the most part believe that the guys who are women and men who developed this thing are probably a lot smarter at it than me. Mm-hmm. And but Toddy had his own settings. Mm-hmm. And he helped me reset my machine to be more in tune with over there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it definitely helped. But it was and the weather was fantastic. I mean, we're doing fields with sheep walking around in it. I mean, it was awesome. Obviously, you walk through your step, but it was quite the experience. And the man was really good, really good. He went out and he detected with us, and he was fine and hammered and everything else too.
Yeah, Toddy's really good. The funny thing that I found is, you find a coin that's from, 1650. They go, "Oh yeah, that's a greenie." Yeah. If
no big deal.
Early 1600s or before, they don't get excited about it.
No, exactly. I said to the guys, I go, "How do you go back now and get excited about it? Finding a 50 quarter, 1950 quarter that's silver." You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to get excited about that stuff again. So, wheat, an old wheat penny. Well, after you're finding coins that we are finding, because the Henry VIII coin was, I think, $14.99 to 15 something. Well, one of the guys found a Roman coin, and it was in such unbelievable condition. It really was just gorgeous, and a lot of detail to that coin. And that one, I think, was around 60 AD or something like that. And Sean found a really nice coin, I believe, from the 1100s. And that's the really, really cool thing about being over there is because every time you dig something, you get that number, and all those big coppers with the DS2 was ringing up in 90, 92, 93. I mean, when that number came up, you knew you had probably a big copper. But and some of the coins, some of the hammers were just halves. So,
Yep.
you might get a reading in the 50s or even in the 60s, and then it ended up being one of them hammers. I think my Henry VIII coin was about a 62. And that Toddy guy
Wow.
also mentioned that 30 years he's never found one. So I think that's a pretty good find. I mean, honestly, that coin made my trip, to be honest with you.
I
Yeah,
bet it
was an
did.
excellent find, I would say.
But yeah, all the guys just crushed it, man. It was just, you always over here, you're always looking for structure. You're looking for this, this is just out in the middle of a 20-acre farmer's field.
Yeah.
And there's no structure. There's no nothing. You're just walking up and down the hill and backing across it. And, and it's just unbelievable the stuff that came out.
Yeah. Gene P wants to know what program was he using. I think probably Toddy developed his own off one of the basic programs.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, most of the time they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty new with the machine. I couldn't tell you if I had it with me right now, I could pull it out and look at the settings, but I don't have them right off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm new to the machine. I've always been an Equinox 800 guy. I love that machine. And then the X-Cal out at the beach in the water. And it's going to be interesting to see what we have for our beaches now with all this storm come through. Because I've hunted Fort Myers Beach quite a few times with Bruno and another guy named Kevin. And yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what the beach conditions are now. I mean, we've always done pretty good in Pinellas County and down in Sarasota, Siesta Key, and all the way down to Fort Myers. And I don't know what to expect when we get out there now. Is it going to be, theoretically, you would think because it was blowing offshore that a lot of sand got moved out, but then we also got a little bit onshore too. So I know you guys were there when we were in Scotland. You guys were over at the beach here local, Jeff, and I wish I could have joined y'all, but obviously I was doing something else. But I was talking
kind of still sanded in. It was still sanded in. Not a lot of targets, but there's still some out there. Not nearly what there has been in the past. I think you'd probably agree, Billy, that once we got slammed with COVID, it's going to take probably good 2 more years to get to the target level built back up. Plus the fact is, there's so many hunters out there now.
There really is. And, I say that back to from when KG and Ringy had their show. It really, I think, exploded this hobby. I mean, I've been doing it on and off since I was about 12 years old. So, and I'm 60 years old now. So I still, to this day, love going out. There's nothing like, even when you're out at the beach in the water. Now, the X-Cal too, there's some discrimination. You can pick out some things. But, there's a pretty good feeling when you shake the sand out of that scoop and you see a gold ring sitting in the bottom of it or a gold chain or something like that. I still get excited. I just love finding them. I bring them home. I hand them to my wife. She picks if she wants one. If she wants one, she keeps it.
Right on.
If not, then it goes to my first daughter who still lives at home, my second daughter. And if she don't want it, then it goes in the display case till my oldest daughter comes over and she looks through them. And if any, they're wearing a lot of the stuff I find. And that's exactly why I find it. It's just I enjoy finding it. And if they want to wear it, I got no problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I got to do a return.
That's cool.
It was on Treasure Island Beach. I found this. It was a tungsten ring. It was a pretty big one. Big guy. It was probably that big around. And I normally don't tell people when I find stuff like that. And the guy said, "Well, if you find a tungsten ring, my brother-in-law lost it." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I thought, well, you just never know about these people.
No, you're right about that.
People say, "Oh yeah, you find my ring? Oh yeah, that's mine." So I don't say nothing to him. And then a couple more of his family came out, and they said, "Oh, if you find a tungsten ring, my brother-in-law lost it." And I thought to myself, I said, what am I going to do with a tungsten ring? It has no value to me.
Yeah.
And because I asked him, I said, "I bet you he's in trouble." He said, "Yeah, he's in pretty much trouble." And so I said, "You know what? I reached in the pouch and I said, would this be it? Is he a big guy? He goes, yeah, he's got big sausage fingers. This might be his. They go, oh my God, oh my God. You know, and the woman starts climbing all over me, hugging me and stuff like that. And oh, you know, yeah. And, you know, Phil was there. And he was standing next to me when they were doing it. And one thing about my brother, he don't like being touched. And the woman was going to him, and Phil was heading
Feels
out
like
to sea. Phil was told he was heading out to sea. He says, I don't need no boat. I'm going out to sea.
Jeff, what do you think about the other coast now? Getting hammered like that, you know they've lost some sand over there.
Yeah, I hope so. They needed, you know, the East Coast, they need to lose some sand. I'm fixing to go to Daytona in a couple of weeks, and they definitely need to lose some sand, especially down along the Treasure Coast, because they're just
what I'm talking about.
bringing it in by the truck, and it's not from offshore either.
No, it's not. Last time I was there, matter of fact, they were spreading it out. I happened to get a chance to hunt with a couple of guys over there who I actually met one of them in the parking lot. Super nice guy, a guy named Jerry Pope. Super dude. And he goes, hey, you want to go out with me? I go, heck yeah, I want to go with you. Are you kidding me? I don't hunt over here. I just go over there usually once a year, you know, a shot in the dark. But I always say, you know, you're not going to find it over here. So why not go? Even if it's sanded in, I don't care. I'm metal detecting. That's all that matters. And he hooked me up with Terry. He took me down to where Terry Shannon was. And Terry said straight to me, he goes, Billy, just do this area right here. I guarantee you'll find something. And it wasn't a few minutes later, I found a musket ball. So, I mean, you know, that made my 3 or 4 days I was over there just finding that musket ball. And it was all thanks to them. And it just goes to show you how I would say 90% of the guys and girls that metal detect are just wonderful people. They don't, I know there's a handful that wouldn't tell you where they found a silver quarter or a mercury dime. I prefer to share it. You know, when we all go out with my guys, Bruno and all them guys and Thomas Walsh, is it a competition? Absolutely. It's a competition. I want to find the best stuff, and so do they. But at the end of the day, I want us all to find something good, because that makes it a lot more fun.
Yep, and it only takes one. And this is where I found the guy's wedding band and returned it on Saturdays when he lost it. And there was another guy out there hunting, and they asked him, he says, if you come across this, you know, my brother-in-law lost it. And he looked at me, he says, you know what? He says, if I find it, it's mine. And he said, besides that, tungsten don't mean nothing to me. It's a bunch of crap, and turned and walked away. Now that gives our hobby, you know, a bad name. You know, every once in a while, you're going to have one of those guys, you know.
Well, yeah.
You know, it don't hurt to say, well, yeah, I'll keep if I find it, I'll, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, it's much more enjoyable, even if it's a gold ring. I mean, if you can give it back to the person, it's a gold. If I find a gold wedding band, it's a gold wedding band. Okay, the weight of gold, you know, I don't really get rid of my stuff, but I have once, I think, in all the years I've been doing it. But for the price of gold, when it got up to 2,000 ounce or 2,000 an ounce almost, but you know, it means so much more to that person. You know, it might mean a couple $200-$300 to you, but to them, it's priceless. It's their wedding band. Who knows how maybe they've been married for 30 or 40 years. And to give it back is a really good feeling. I had that same situation one time when I was out there. I was on the beach and some young guy run up to me and he said, dude, I just lost my wedding band. And I go, oh, did you mark it? He goes, oh yeah, I marked it. I said, well, let's go find it. And I found it literally within a couple of minutes. And he's like, oh, can I buy you a drink or something? And I'm like, yeah, no. He goes, where are you staying? I said, right here at the Island Inn. He goes, I can set up a tab for you. I go, nah, that's all right, dude. I just love finding it for you. But he'd only been married 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was good to get it back.
This guy, his brother-in-law wasn't there. He'd already gone home. But he called him, and you know, then he made a special trip. About an hour later, he comes wading back out in the water, and he says, I just had $20 in cash. I just want you to have it. It means that much. And it would have been insulting for me not to take that money.
Sure. You know, I always say no for once or twice. And if they offer a third time, you know, you are insulting them to some extent. They want to give it to you because they're so appreciative of what you've done. Yeah. I don't look for money or anything like that. The smile on their face is well worth it. You know, as you know, Jeff, Sean, you know, I don't know if you'll mind if I mention his little YouTube thing, but you know, Detect Florida, he's done a lot of returns, and there's a lot of them on there, and there's some really cool ones that he's done. He gets called a lot in Siesta Key. When we were in Scotland, he had 3 times somebody messaging him, hey, there's 3 rings have been lost out on Siesta Key area, Lido Beach area. And he goes, this always happens when I'm not in town. I get a big request for these rings. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to do it. Now, who knows with what we just went through, if that's all that stuff's buried in 3 foot of sand for all I know, or it's who knows where it is. But
yeah, you never know. You never know. But you know, the karma that you build up, whether you believe in it or not,
absolutely
is a good thing. And Sean is he's a wonderful young man.
He is.
And you know, every good thing that happens to Sean and his daddy, they deserve. And you know, I want many, many more good things to happen to him.
By the way, that's a funny story. You say his dad. His dad's name is Paul, because Paul will tell you when we were in Scotland, he goes, yeah, I'm kind of known as Sean's dad. I go, well, I never call you Sean's dad. I always call you Paul. And because he is, you go, oh, this is Sean's dad. But yeah, he's a good detectorist too. It's but you know, getting back a little bit more to the Scotland trip, it was an amazing. I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world to do, but if you plan it out far enough, you can save some money. And the hotel we stayed at, breakfast was included, you know, but at least you got that. And all their meals over there, I mean, 4 and 5 star meals at this place. And it's just it's a mom and pop place. And I mean, every meal from steak to fish and chips to, you know, lasagna, you know, less than probably $15. The steak was a little more, about $22, but just everything over there. And the people are so nice over there. And I have found that true because my dad was English, and I had been to England many a times, and I was lucky enough when I went over to my uncle metal detected, so he would take me out detecting. And I went from probably the time I was 10 till I think the last time I went, I was about 22 years old. As you can tell, a very long time ago for me. But you know, we've been doing it, and it's just even the people over there, they're very kind people, and they accept you. We got to know all the locals because the only pub that was open at night was the one at our hotel. So we got to meet and know all the locals too. Yeah, it's just a super thing. But the finds were absolutely incredible. Everybody found amazing stuff. And you know, Jeff, you know Bruno, you know Sean.
Yep.
You put them 2 in a room, and you're gonna have a good time because they will rip on each other all night long, and we all get to sit back and interject here and there our little smart remarks. But it's just very, very entertaining. Bruno should have a show of his own, for the love of Pete. He is so funny at times, but yeah, really good time. Really good time. Yeah. I really wish the 2 of them could have come on because what I just said would have been happening already. You know, last time we were on, we had a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get you all back on. It was just an unfortunate thing. Probably be after the first of the year.
Sounds good.
Because we are all booked up now for the rest of the year. But after the first of the year, we'll get you all back on, all 3 of you, and we'll have a good time.
Are you going to the Central Florida thing, Jeff?
No, I'm not. I've got my anniversary's that day, so I would get in trouble probably.
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate because this weekend is my 30th, Monday actually, 30th anniversary, and it's next weekend. So I'm glad it didn't fall on the same date because, well, I wouldn't say it would be a hard decision. My wife would tell me to go. She would say, just go.
True. But I've learned over the years, you know.
Yeah. You don't have to say a word. I know exactly what you're going to say because it's.
And look at the cheeky up there. She's going, I ain't saying a word here.
Well, you know, you gotta. My wife, I'm very fortunate. She lets me detect anytime I want. And, you know, I even said to her, I go, kind of thinking about over in the Melbourne, you know, Vero Beach area this weekend. She goes, go.
She's a good girl.
She is a good girl. I'm very fortunate. I don't know why she puts up with me half the time, but she does. 30 years worth, so I think it's kind of like, why bother anything else, you know?
That's true. Well, Billy, thanks much for joining us tonight. We'll get you and the other 2 back on. I'll be in contact with you soon to get it booked, to give them guys a week or so to kind of get their breath back a little bit. Yes. And then we'll talk about it and get everything all settled.
Yeah, definitely do. I love doing this, and I'm sure the other two guys will be ready to go. It's just the circumstances changed everything a little bit. I'm sure they would have been on. They would have loved to have been on, but
Oh yeah, they would have. They would have. They
Mother
were
Nature
looking
was
forward
not
to it.
kind.
Yep. So, well, it is what it is. But we were
Mhm.
lucky enough that you dodged a bullet. Were able to come on and tell us a little bit about the trip.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody just absolutely was enthralled with it, and we thank you so much. And make sure you tell your wife and children that we are very, very happy that
Mhm.
everybody was okay.
Well, I tell you, thank both of you for letting me come on here because I do enjoy doing this. It's nice to talk about it. We're all like-minded people. We have a hobby that we are all in love with and just can't wait to get
Yes.
out there. I can't wait to. Unfortunately, I got to go in tomorrow and see what my golf course looks like. I'm sure I got to have a heck of a mess to clean up after all these winds, but that's all right. Done it many, many times before. This ain't the first hurricane through this area, so we'll
Mhm.
get
That's
it
right.
done, and then I'll be out Saturday somewhere in the water. This coast, the
Yep.
other coast, somewhere.
Have a good time.
All right, you all take care. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Bill.
All righty,
Good
take care.
good to meet you. All
All right,
right.
nice to meet you. Thank you.
He is a great fella. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had a really good time over there. I would have really liked for you to been able to met Bruno and Sean, but we'll get them back.
Absolutely.
We'll get them back on. And
Mhm.
we ran over a little bit tonight, and the second
That's okay.
of our program was brought to you by Excalibur Shovels, and they make the best, absolute best
Yes.
digging implements on the planet. So next week it's going to be interesting. We have got Creek Geek,
Ah.
and who else do we have? Let's see. Let me look and see. That's September. So that's October the 6th. We've got Creek Geek, and I don't remember now. Somebody else. I can't read my own writing, but
That's okay.
I'll do a post on it. And
All
everybody,
right.
thanks for joining us tonight. Lizzie, thanks, kid.
Thank you for having me.
Tell
Appreciate
the
it.
fam I said hey.
I will. I will.
And everybody out there, happy hunting and dig deeper. And good night from Treasure Tales.
Good night, everybody.